All right, welcome back to the Ibero City podcast. I am here joined by a Basalt man from the
What?
Abyss.
My name is Lumos. Hi.
Hello, Lumos. And this is 12 Lush Frondz, an
Yes.
iterator outside of Ibero City.
Thank you for having
Hmm.
me here.
He is
We're,
currently in holographic form due to iterators being unable to leave their mountains or their cities, depending on where you live.
you could say that, yes.
Now, in the pilot, we were talking about just Ibero City in general and the current workings of everything else outside of outside of Ibero involving the Reaper War. Now, today we're going to be talking about machines and the Abyss, if you're willing to disclose information, Mr.
Mm,
Lumos.
yeah, some. Not what we have in plan, but some
Now,
of the history and crap.
yeah, now, Franz,
Mm-hmm.
you iterators, um, you iterators can create objects, correct?
Mm.
I guess you could say that. I prefer to call them purposed organisms.
Right, purposed organisms. Now, the Abyss, what are
Yeah.
they mostly consistent of?
Well, hmm. I mean, they're an ancient civilization that is, regained some of its lost land, over a very long time. But yeah, we're like lithoids and crap.
Now,
Rock people.
yeah, now, according to my documents, years ago you guys were attacked by collectors, yes?
Oh, not years ago. Like maybe like hundreds of years ago. But yeah, pretty much.
So, when the
Yeah,
ancients
collectors, leviathans.
ruled this land back in like the early 2000s, maybe?
Yeah, I mean maybe not this exact land, but we were all across the globe. You know, doing our own thing, but sometimes making appearances. But more than we do now, I guess.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, I believe um, the abyss usually stays out of human affairs, correct?
I mean, most of the time, but if they're in like desperate need and you don't want like a ginormous earthquake to like close in on the caverns.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, that only happens if there's like designed explosives for them, but we've learned how to reinforce our walls.
right.
But
Well,
yeah.
um, so, Franz, the
Yes.
iterators, you said earlier before the show that there are many iterators along the world, correct?
Yes, we are everywhere. Practically, at least.
Well, I believe about a couple years ago, no, not a couple years ago, about a few months ago. Sorry, my clock is being a bit weird today. Um, Probably from the gunshot in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but uh, what was it? about a couple months ago, I believe the Reapers had attacked another Iterator, correct?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was broken or forgotten dreams. Do not keep track of them myself, but from what I remember, they seemed nice. I don't know what happened to them now, but I hope they are not indoctrinated, or whatever the word you guys use.
Yes. Reapers have a tendency to indoctrinate most organic and robotic beings. Um, with all that being said, um, another thing we should take a look at is how how you all work, all the iterators.
Mm.
Now, I believe you use water cooling or water construction.
Yes, we use water to keep our systems from burning us alive and to just keep us from, you know, not dying.
Right. And Lumos.
Yeah.
Do abyssals eat or drink anything?
I mean, not much is needed, but I mean, from time to time.
Right.
We can't really be starved out. You know, it's
Being,
like one of those animals that like can eat, it cannot eat for like a while, and then like they're fine for those like I don't know the while they take without eating. Yeah.
right. So the abyssals are basalt creatures, right?
Well, yes. Like I'm not really sure because it isn't documented well, but how like abyssals are, made like erupting volcano. You know how basalt is made, like, you know,
Yeah,
rapid
yeah.
cooling of lava and crap. Somehow like bacteria got in there and like
And
made
and
it alive
yeah.
somehow. I don't know.
So, um, have you seen uh that big diner commercial?
I don't think I have. I mean, we don't get the best of service down there, and the only TVs we really have are from, I believe, like 1990s, because we can't really, go out to the store and buy them easily,
Well,
because we don't really have your currencies.
I'll show you it after the show.
Ah, yeah. All right.
Um, now, uh, Franz.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the name of the iterators are strange. I believe you are named after statements.
I guess you could say that. Well, I was gonna say that about your names. Names like those are very common from where I come from. The
Right.
usuals.
Because I believe when the iterators were around, um, not even Pladio was built. Am I correct?
Yes, I did some research about your cities, and I don't think we ventured, I should, in quotation marks, into your little world here.
But you have a sense of time, right?
Yeah, you could say that, as you guys use dates and all that. We just, excuse me, one sec. I gotta look at. Just one sec. I'm being called.
I think there's someone on at the window
At the window.
behind you. Yeah,
What the hell? Who is
might be
that?
a bug or something. I don't know.
Strange. Well, anyway. Oh god, now I've shown everyone how horrible my office is.
I mean, I'm sure they won't mind.
Yeah. I mean, at least we have a bench in the corner. Well, not a bench, a couch, lounge area.
Well, I mean, this room wasn't really, built for the podcast, I don't think.
No, I'm renting this floor of the building.
Ah,
Uh, and before before I forget, we are sponsored by the Big Men Diner. The Big Man Diner.
isn't it just called the Big Diner?
The Big Diner, right? I'm confusing
Yeah.
my words. The Big Diner is it's I've never really gone myself, being a robot, of course, but
Okay, I'm
um
back.
I have heard reviews that the Big Diner is good, but I wouldn't really know. But the Big Diner, everyone, brought to you, and this podcast episode was brought to you by the Big Diner. I am finally sponsored.
Well, I mean, wasn't your first episode like a few days ago or something?
Yeah, but I didn't really have anything else
Hmm,
left to do, seeing as how
fair.
my only purpose is this.
You were built to make podcasts.
Well, I was built to do other things, but I had the passion of a podcast.
Hmm. I mean, since this whole war happened, I guess, there's no directives going on or something.
Well, there are directives going on, but the main directive is to, well, fend off the Reapers, and not a lot of
Well, makes
androids
sense.
can do that.
Yeah, isn't it only like those specialized guys? What do you call them? Are the Men of Iron androids?
Um,
Not sure.
the Men of Iron could be counted as an android, seeing as how they are humanoid in shape, but usually the Men of Iron, they're not really fond of humanity.
Uh, well, I mean, I just heard Ace, whatchamacallem, he knows one of the Men of Iron. I'm
Ah,
not sure,
Heavy.
like Heavy?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have heard about him, and I should get Ace on this show at some point.
Oh yeah, he's a well, quote unquote person, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, iterators are mostly robots, and I've got one of them on here.
Uh,
Am I correct about that, Franz?
Yes, we are mostly mechanical.
Now, um, we will be taking the time outside of the show to, uh, we will be taking time outside of the show to try and get you, to try and get Lumos back to the Abyss, seeing as how the Big Men Studios are in the Reaper territory.
oh well, we always carry around those emergency teleports back, but right now that location's also kind of compromised
Right.
since collectors are there, and
Yeah.
haven't seen any other abyss around here. I mean, I've heard of some sort of traveling abyss, but never seen them.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come onto the podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is the very second episode of the podcast, so not
Hmm.
a lot of people probably wouldn't have heard of it.
Well, I'll see if I can recommend it to anybody.
Thank you. Well,
Hmm.
Franz,
Mm-hmm.
the I believe there is an iterator out north by Darkfall called Five Pebbles.
I'm pretty sure the one you speak of is more west south than north.
Right. Um, no, yeah, no, it's farther from Darkfall, but the iterator out there, um, I was mostly wondering iterators in general. Um, how do you keep up with the facilities while the ancients are gone?
Well, we usually had to take care of ourselves. The ancients really just built us and said, okay, go solve our problems. So it's nothing unusual, just a bit less demanding, you can say.
Ah, okay. Well, I believe there are also many different organic beings out on iterators and around them,
Hmm.
as well as that rain that you create. I believe they're more dense than metals at this point.
Can be, yes. Especially when one of us is really, really working on a project of theirs. Of
Okay.
ours, I should say.
So the the iterators expel a lot of water as well as intake a lot of water. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, and I believe this water has been known to shred vehicles.
Can be, if you get really unlucky. I know a couple of those humans who got absolutely crushed by the rain. It's quite unfortunate.
Right. Well, with all that being said, I think that's all we have to talk about for today.
Hmm. Yeah,
If
I think it
there,
might be.
yeah, if there are
I'm.
any questions, um, either by the staff, by the guests, ask them now.
No questions.
I
No
mean, yeah,
questions.
not
All right.
not
Well,
really.
if the viewers have any questions, leave them in the comments and I may reply. Well, I most likely will reply. And I will catch you all on the flip side. This was Ibero City Android number 11732, and I am coming at you from the Big Men Production Studio. I hope you all have a good day.